In this video, Candace Owens and Bill Maher engage in a heated yet thought-provoking debate covering various controversial topics, including Trump's role in the January 6 Capitol riots, the Timo II movement, climate change, and the rise of political correctness. Owens skillfully challenges Maher's viewpoints, defending conservative positions and highlighting what she perceives as hypocrisy and manipulation by the media and cultural elites. Despite their differences, they ultimately find common ground in their criticism of modern political correctness and its impact on free speech and public discourse. Many of you mentioned that this episode of Bill Maher's Club Random podcast is a must-watch, especially because Candace Owens, often labeled a right-wing grifter, made an appearance. Let's dive in.
Like commentators like Bill Maher's I'm not a racist. I just want the truth.
Yeah.
Just don't lie to me.
But don't you miss being able to make fun of each other in like a feel-good way? Go watch the old stand-up comedians. They would walk in, they'd be on stage, and they would just literally, you could not survive. You were Chinese, you're getting a joke. You're black, you're getting a joke about and everyone is being offended and everyone's laughing. And when they walk out, they're closer. Closer, because you need to have it taken out.
Right, you do.
You're not
now when you're walking on eggshells.
Yeah.
See, I can't make a joke because if it's taken the wrong way.
You gotta issue an apology. If it's taken, it's
and that way we don't get close.
Yeah, we never get closer. We never get closer. And I still keep that in my friendships. I make fun of my friends I'm like, oh, well, it's because you're black, or that because you're Spanish, oh, you're Jewish, and that is why we are so close, because we are able to. That is actually how people
and it's not
come
to say
together.
that racism still doesn't
never going to go away. There's always going to be stupid people.
Like there will all be criminals.
Yes, exactly. The people are dumb. We get that.
Right.
You know.
Exactly.
You're going to find these people.
It seems like Candace Owens is annoyed with Bill Maher's approach, and she is feeling offended. Immediately, Bill Maher appears awkward and avoids the conversation and intentionally changes the subject. Please continue watching the video.
Yeah.
But don't you not believe like in the moon landing? So I'm supposed to believe you about climate?
I think it's so funny how people take, well, first off, I know what I'm talking about with the climate stuff, so I'm just going to go ahead and promote.
Well, you're not the only one.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think you should probably realize that there is, in the same way that there are narratives I think you're now more awake to. The climate hoax is one that funds trillions of dollars, and we are not running out of space. You could fit the entire world if you stacked it like New York City and Dallas. So
fit. I just said it's not about.
Fit, but the point is that the hurricanes are down. The whole idea that every time it rains, it's because something bad is happening is like it's okay.
What I will agree with you on is this: the environmentalists do often lie because they have this idea, this issue is so important, and by the way, it is so important, that it's okay if we shade the truth to get people on our side, and I don't agree with that. I'm always—
You've lied every time.
Well, not every time.
What was your climate disaster growing up? Mine was global warming. They don't even say it anymore.
They don't say global warming anymore?
No, they don't. No, they say climate change. They went from global cooling.
Maybe not in your bubble, but in the world they do.
No, they don't. They went from global cooling to global warming.
They never were in global. No one was ever talking about. It was one. That's such a stupid talking point that you keep repeating. It's a zombie lie. It was one article in one magazine in one day, 1 week in Newsweek or something. Nobody was talking about global cooling. Yes, we understand that the planet is always changing. That's a different story.
No, there was a whole climate alarmism via the IPC for global cooling.
No, there wasn't.
Okay.
Interestingly, Candace has this peculiar habit of not making eye contact with Bill. Instead, she seems to stare off into the middle distance. It's an unusual trait, and while it could be related to various things, it certainly adds an odd dynamic to the conversation, as she rarely directs her gaze toward Maher himself. Bill Maher makes a generally accurate point here. As our understanding of climate change has deepened, we now know that while there is an overall warming trend, it also leads to more extreme and variable weather patterns, including both record highs and lows. It's complex, involving more than just warming, which is why the term evolved from global warming to climate change. Not as a cover-up, but to better reflect the broader effects on our environment. Then, the discussion veers into another conspiracy theory, not unique to Candace, but one she entertains. The idea that we never actually went to the moon.
Okay, but just to be clear, people did land on the moon.
I don't know.
Okay, there we go.
I don't know.
I do know.
I just want to know why we didn't go back.
We did go back.
What, did we go back? What year?
To the moon?
We people on the moon?
Okay.
I'm asking
Now
a
who's
serious
ignorant?
question. When did we go back to
first
people walking
landed-
on the moon? 69, okay.
July 20th, 1969.
Yeah.
We went back like 10 more times.
Who went back? Who walked on the moon?
America. You know,
No, but like, what were the astronauts' names? Educate me. Why
who
are
the
you?
fuck remembers what the astronauts' names were?
It's a pretty big deal to walk on the moon.
The first guy, and then after that, yes.
Who else walked on it?
I
How
don't
many?
remember the name. Like another dozen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Another dozen humans walked on the moon?
Yes, Americans, all Americans.
Okay. We don't remember that.
We kept going back. Apollo 13 was the one they made the movie about. That was the one they aborted, but that was after we had landed. Apollo 11, I think, was.
I'm not talking about space missions. I'm talking about actual people walking on the moon.
Yes, landing on the moon and walking on it. First of all, it is an impressive scientific feat. It's not out of the realm of like, how could that possibly happen? It's only 250,000 miles away. They had figured out enough to be able to do it, even with the shitty computers that they had in 1969. Yes, it's risky, and we did lose people doing it.
All right, so there's a lot to unpack here, and frankly, some of it is pretty misguided. The Apollo missions involved multiple moon landings, all well documented and easily verifiable. This kind of skepticism seems rooted in a mindset where, if you weren't there yourself, you're free to question its reality. Yet space agencies worldwide, including those in other countries like the Soviet Union, tracked and confirmed these missions. If the moon landings were fake, there would be plenty of motivation and resources to expose it as such. While disbelief in the moon landing may seem inconsequential, this mentality becomes problematic when it extends to more pressing issues like climate change, where skepticism can influence real-world actions. What is it? Let's see.
And Nashville.
Yeah.
And this is what they attacked me for so vigorously when I did my editorial about trans, which, you know, I feel like, again, a great demarcation between what liberal is, old school liberal, and woke. Liberal believes trans is, of course, a real thing, and they should be protected and respected. Woke is like, well, before they can like tie their shoe, we tell them they very likely might be in the wrong body.
I ran your segment on my podcast, actually, because it was brilliant.
Great.
Yeah,
Thank you.
on Real Time, you did the segment talking about, okay, if this is a real thing, and
Why
you
is
sort
it
of showed
regional?
this geography.
Why is it regional?
Brilliant point.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah,
Why is
it was
it so
brilliant.
regional?
Yeah.
What is it? The water here in California?
It might
Because
be.
I've been to dinner parties, more than one, where there's 12 people and they're all talking about their trans kids. They're all.
Scary.
It's almost like that's the norm.
Yeah.
The argument presented is that the notion of being transgender as a social contagion or fad oversimplifies a complex issue. It's important to recognize that many ancient cultures embraced gender identities beyond the male, female binary. These concepts have existed for centuries. What's changed is, firstly, the language and medical understanding we use to describe transgender experiences. Medical and psychological fields have long recognized people whose gender identity doesn't align with the sex assigned at birth. While stigma and societal pressure often kept individuals from openly discussing these identities, areas with reduced stigma see more people willing to share their experiences. Interestingly, the percentage of trans and non-binary individuals seeking surgical interventions hasn't increased, challenging the idea of a trend or fad. There are many issues discussed in this video. Do you enjoy it? Leave a comment to let us know. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to watch the next videos.